Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with your Hollywoke hot take. Today, Meathead, Rob Reiner from All in the Family. Yeah, he actually played Meathead, the hippie son-in-law of Archie Bunker. And his politics in real life kind of matches Meathead's. Very progressive. And this is from Breitbart. Rob Reiner, GOP lawmakers are planning to challenge election will be committing sedition and treason. This is not something a hippie would say. It'd be fighting against the man. Left-wing Hollywood director Rob Reiner, according to the article, is attacking Republican lawmakers who are planning on challenging the Electoral College results, accusing them of committed, quote, treason or sedition and treason. Rob Reiner, who has repeatedly called President Trump a Russian asset during the last 4 years, made the accusations in a tweet on Saturday. Every senator and congressperson who votes to overturn the election will be committing an act of sedition and treason. Their names will be recorded for history, he wrote. So will yours, Rob. So will yours. Although I don't think you're committing sedition and treason, but you are supporting the establishment hardcore, man. I mean, really? Sedition and treason? It's not a way a hippie would talk. No way. But, you know, the old saying is you either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. And I think this is what's happened with a lot of people who were formerly hippies. You know, their worldview didn't change, but the world around them did. And this is what happened. It happens to a lot of old people. Many of them can't change. There's an old stand-up routine. Forget who did it. I want to say Doug Stanhope, but I don't think it was him. The idea that, you know, when a guy, older guys sort of freeze in time in terms of their clothes. You know, they finally get an outfit they like, and they kind of stick with that for the next 30, 40 years at a job. And that's why they tend to wear, like, older clothes, you know, unless their wife browbeats them into upgrading their wardrobe. I think this is true with some people in terms of politics, especially when it comes to Donald Trump. I don't think a person like Reiner can get beyond his old paradigm. He just can't. He's just stuck there. And I think a lot of reasons is he doesn't care is my thinking. Partly he's discovered, like a lot of Hollywood people, if you're political, you get attention. I know, doggy. If you're political, you get to be on TV again, and you need to get on TV to promote your movies and TV shows and whatnot. See Joan's haircut? So nice, so fuzzy. So he uses what knowledge he has off the top of his head. But it tends to be that people in Hollywood just go with whatever's popular. And that's a safe bet, normally. Except when the paradigm is changing. So this would have been a safe bet in 2000, right? You know, if you had supported Gore in, you know, recounting the votes and objecting to the electors, you would have been popular, you know, amongst the Democrats. So obviously, Rob must have did it, because I did a Google search for the year 2000 all the way to 2001 for politics to see all of the crazy stuff Rob said. Oh, that's weird. Wasn't in the news back then. I wonder what Rob was doing in 2000 and 2001. Well, let's see. IMDb. I know this is going to be. Oh, okay. IMDb didn't work. Let's do recent. There we go. Get to IMDb, which tells all in Hollywood. What's Rob Reiner doing in 2000? Well, we go back. Let's see. Oh, he was doing The Story of Us in 1999, The Muse, Ed TV. He had 3 movies that year. Then in 2000, he had Catching Up with Marty DeBerg, a video short. Oh, he was on Curb Your Enthusiasm in 2001. He was the studio executive in The Majestic, whatever that was. I think it was a movie. He just did the voice. Yeah, so he was doing stuff. Doing stuff, working, going on The Simpsons. But oddly, no screaming about sedition and treason to the people who objected it against Bush. That's so weird. Back in 2016, he went on Morning Joe and said there are a lot of people who are racist. That's why Donald Trump got voted in, basically. That was before any of the major stuff that happened with Trump. I mean, he was calling him a racist before the guy was even really president. Let's see. When was this article? Oh, this article was in May. So, he was only a candidate. Yeah, the election was in November, so called him a racist then. I mean, this is how long this has been going on. In 2016, this is after the election, Trump represents the last battle of the Civil War. Again, implying his racism. But that may have more to do with the movie he was promoting at the time, which was about LBJ, starring Woody Harrelson, about the civil rights movement, and just trying to get, people to see that. But is he serious? Does it matter? Because there have been 3 challenges by the Democrats to 2 GOP presidents in the last 20 years. So why are you so appalled? If the Democrats did it 3 times the last 20 years, and this is the first time the Republicans are doing it in, pretty long time, and they're getting bashed in the media relentlessly for it, well, what do you care? Calling it sedition and treason. The other 3 times, I couldn't find anything of you calling sedition or treason of the Democrats. That's so weird, Meathead. It's so weird. Why would you say that, Meathead? Oh, is it because you're very lefty and want the Democrats to win and want the Republicans to be destroyed, I guess? I guess you want one-party rule? Are you that confident of the goodness inside of all Democrats, I guess? It's not something Mike Civic, the character you played on Archie Bunker, would have wanted. He was more of a hippie, I'm sure he argued a bunch of progressive stuff, but, younger people tend to have a little more flexibility. They may not care as much about politics, but they also kind of don't take such extreme positions, I think, on a lot of things. Certainly not like this. Not like sedition and treason, so you have been charged with sedition and treason. That's a very establishment thing to say. And hippies were not establishment. They were anti-establishment. But it's just interesting that, a guy out in Hollywood, a guy who was born into a Hollywood family. His father was Carl Reiner, who was a TV star and famous comedian before he started his career. Meathead has had privilege in his career. Got on to All in a Family, a great show, a controversial show, I'll remind you, where the main characters said a bunch of racist things. They didn't call Carol O'Connor a racist. They called him a genius for the character he portrayed. And the show was genius. But now, in the modern era, such language isn't even tolerated amongst the Democrats. And it seems to me that everything he's saying is just either hyperbolic in order to get himself attention so he can promote whatever project he has, or it's just a liberal who didn't particularly pay attention to politics, doesn't particularly care about things like peace in the Middle East or a good economy or any of the pertinent issues. He just wants what he wants. He wants his friends in power, and that's it. Because Rob Reiner's a bigwig now. He's an important name in Hollywood and trying to make it in politics to some extent, I guess. Going on MSNBC and railing against the man. But it's a very artificial construction now. I mean, that was true 50 years ago, maybe, when you were rallying against the man. The man isn't the man anymore. You're the man. Biden's the man. You support the man. That's not what hippies do, Rob. But maybe you were never one of them. You were just a guy faking it.